joyful we adore thee.
Christmas Revelations. Day 2. Our theme today is Parenthood. We continue on in Matthew chapter 1, looking at the verses up to verse 17. And we will see names, lots of names. Read through the verses 3 through 17 and make note that God was faithful in keeping all these generations going. Despite all the troubles these people faced, each one gave birth to the next and did so for a remarkable 14 generations, as it so clearly mentions in verse 17. Thought provoker. Can you imagine 14 generations back in your family? Can you imagine 14 generations forward? Can you speculate what your family experienced in the past? And how about what they might encounter in the future? And for what it's worth, if one generation is roughly 25 years, we're talking about 14 times 25 years, which is 350 years. That would be as far back as 1670 or as far forward as 2370. Our key verse to look at today is Matthew 1:16. And Jacob, the father of Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom Jesus was born, who was called the Messiah. Here's some more thought provokers. Of all these names that are listed for us in Matthew 1, when it comes to Joseph, we don't find him described as a father, at least not yet. Instead, we find a different description for Joseph, namely, that he is the husband of Mary. All of the listed men are noted as a father of a child, but that's not how Joseph is described. How might Joseph have felt knowing this? We might compare Joseph with one of the earliest in the family line, that of Abraham. Let's spend a little time on that. What might the connection be there? Well, for years, Abraham had no children himself. In fact, it wasn't until he was 86 that he had his first child, Ishmael. And let's remember some background about Abraham. His name in his early days was actually Abram. Its meaning, exalted father. And later, when God called him, he was given the new name of Abraham. And this new name took things to a new level. He would be father of many. So here was Abram, now named Abraham, a man who had to walk around with the title of exalted father, though with no children. And then God gives him an even bigger name, father of many, and still no children whatsoever. What must that have been like for Abraham? Was he ridiculed? Did people whisper, "Here comes the father with no children"? Did he go through moments of doubt? We can only conjecture, right? Could Abraham have imagined any way whatsoever that he really would be a father? And more than that, a father of multitudes? What hope did he have living in his 80s that he would ever have a child? Now consider Joseph. Here is this private man, a man from a long line of renowned men like Abraham. He too is yet without a child. And similarly, life is going to drastically change for him as well. His name also speaks of promise. The meaning of Joseph's name, he will add. So then, what's in a name? Well, clearly a lot. What does your name mean? Here are some reflections. We know that God works all things together for good. Both Abraham and Joseph might not have known it, but both their private lives would dramatically change. Joseph is a man without a child, though his name kind of intimates that he would have one. He may have hoped that one day he too would be described in family discussions as the father of a new generation like all his fathers before him. He may have imagined being a proud father. He might have dreamed of sitting his child on his father Jacob's lap. But God had a different plan for Joseph. And when you think about it, the plan for Joseph was grander than the plan for Abraham. Joseph would be given the privilege to raise the Messiah. He'd be given the privilege to see this babe grow into boyhood, to oversee his education, even to apprentice him. Alongside Mary, Joseph would have a view closer than anyone else of the Son of God. God bless you today.
Joyful, joyful, we adore thee, God of glory, Lord of love. Hearts unfold like flowers before thee, opening to the sun above. Melt the clouds of sin and sadness, drive the dark of doubt away. Giver of immortal gladness,